Finally, Suzuki has released the Super Naked, but is it a case of too little, too late? No, the GSX-S1000 is a great bike. It might have all the latest gadgets and electronic aids that the competition have, but that's just what sets it apart from the crowd. There's no pretensions here, just pure motorcycle enjoyment. It's powered by a street-tuned version of the engine found in its Superbike brother. Suzuki has modified the bike for better low and mid-range performance, and it feels it. We'd have little doubt that the GSX-S1000 would be quicker on the streets than the straight GSX-1000. Despite being a good 20 or so horsepower down on the top of the line nakeds from BMW and Aprilia, you won't feel like you're missing anything. The bike pours on the speed from the get-go, and the close ratio gearbox means you've got constant access to immense amounts of torque. Gear shifts are silky smooth, though you won't find a quick shifter or a slipper clutch here. Those technologies are missing, and it's a theme throughout the bike. Unfortunately, there are times when we couldn't enjoy the engine as much as we'd like. The initial throttle response of the bike is jerky. Both on and off throttle, the bike is just too quick to respond and doesn't provide confidence when exiting tight turns at low speed. In high gears it's not as noticeable, but even riding a straight road, minor bumps will translate into minute movements of your hand, making the bike surge on and off. We just think a small dead zone on the throttle would eliminate this. It's definitely not a deal breaker though, and as our time on the bike grew longer, we didn't notice it as much. It's probably more a case of us being spoiled by the silky smooth fueling of the latest machines from KTM and other European brands. Looks wise, we really like it. Many will disagree, and there seems to be a lot of dislike of the GSX-S1000 styling, but we take the opposite view and think it's one of the better looking Super Nakeds on the market. Our only design quibble is with the rear pillion seat. It's not a nice place to be. Suspension feels top notch, and we doubt any rider is going to find its limits on the street. And even at the track, the chassis and componentry of the bike will be ample for most. The brakes are also a highlight and with some of the best anchors we've used in a while. Ergonomics were a bit of a mixed bag for us. You sit quite forward and pretty much bolt upright, which we like, but the rider triangle feels quite compact and not far off a superbike in terms of how cramped you feel. The dash is chock full of info and easy to read and looks quite schmick. Other than ABS, the only modern technology you'll find in the GSX-S1000 is traction control, the second time such a system is featured on a Suzuki. It does the job it's intended to do, but to be honest we wouldn't have minded if it wasn't included as well. This motorcycle is raw, unpretentious and pure. Sit on it, turn it on and just ride. Simple. And the benefit of this lack of technology translates into a very good price. Pretty much wherever you live in the world, the GSX-S1000 will be the cheapest Super Naked you can buy, coming under the likes of the Kawasaki Z1000 and Yamaha FZ1, and orders of magnitude cheaper than European bikes. Sure, you might miss out on all the latest farkles, but that doesn't detract from the ride. And perhaps because of its cheapness, that makes the Suzuki GSX-S1000 the gateway drug into Super Naked bikes. And perhaps the biggest disappointment is that Suzuki didn't release this bike a lot sooner than it did.